You think you know mean. You don't know mean.
Sebastian Davis, the reason we're on to him, well, a couple things. We were talking about the $1 million password or whatever I was playing. He's the guy I was playing with.
No shit.
He's the guy who didn't know the compass heading.
A producer of a Market 2 morning show, syndicated.
That I've done more than once in studio. In studio.
It never came up on the show?
I don't know if he wanted to bring it up.
We got him.
I certainly didn't recognize him, or he wasn't in the room, or whatever it is, but somebody brought that up. And we know Woody, and we've done stuff with the show, and we love Woody. And the producer of the Woody Show is the guy I was playing against, and then also came up with Cart Narcs,
which is my favorite.
Yeah, it goes to supermarkets and talks to people who leave their carts just flopped out in the wind.
But like politely, but they go insane. The people lose their minds, and he's really quite pleasant about it.
Yeah, I think we have a 41-second audio clip of that we can play to get you caught up. But I'm also interested, finally, we can figure out, did he practice the game? Did he have a sort of brain fart up there? Was he good at it? Was it the adrenaline dump that caused him? I mean, we should set the table by playing that clip one more time. I don't know if we want to do it with Sebastian. I feel bad for him.
We can do it with him, too. Let's just listen to it.
Just so you know who's coming in.
30 seconds on the clock. We start right now.
South.
Texas.
East.
Atlantic.
West.
Gulf.
Pole.
South Pole. Antarctic.
Said South Pole.
Yeah.
And this guy's the arbiter of where carts go?
That's right.
Start small.
They go to the South Pole.
I guess so.
So he's coming in, and I'm interested. I want to know what the vetting process was. He must have understood the game. He must have been good at the game. He must have been a fan of the game.
Simulations, at least in the tryouts.
And how satisfying for you after all these years.
Yes, finally.
Yeah.
Finally. Closure. You know, this is what, Dr. Bodden would help with. You know what I mean? Like, it's like our daughter's gone.
Right.
Nothing will ever bring her back. But I want to know what happened that July night in the woods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to know what happened.
Yeah.
And now we're going to find out what happened.
We're going to do a proper autopsy.
Now,
get out the rape kit.
Yeah, do you guys... right. Do you think the answer is going to be brain fart? Like, I just seized up?
That's the most likely answer is just, wasn't ready for the moment.
I mean, what else could it be? Like, what if he just says, like, you're terrible at giving hints? I mean, that would be insane.
He could go on the offense. It's not going to help his case, but he could do it. I don't think the tape lies.
Right.
I think I actually, who don't play the game, played that one perfectly by getting. I did all the compass headings, and then I jumped to the pole, which North Pole. There's nowhere else to go.
I
but
can't
the
think
pole.
of anything else to suggest.
All right, so we'll get into that. We'll play the Cart Narcs clip for you. This is him, right? Who's confronting people.
Yeah, he goes by Agent Sebastian.
And he's confronting people in the parking lots of supermarkets.
Hey, ma'am, sorry, that's not where the cart goes. That's in the handicap walkway. Someone who's actually handicapped might need that for, like, their wheelchair or something.
Wait, actually handicapped? Is that
Right, someone who's, like, in a...
Oh, no, I'll move it. I mean...
Thank you. See,
and I do have a handicap, actually. So just let you know. But I get what you're saying.
Is it lazy bonesitis? Because I saw you walk around the store, and then you came out...
absolutely. But have you seen my MRIs, sir?
Look,
and who the fuck are you?
Oh, I'm the Cart Narcs.
Okay, well, you can Cart Narc, go fuck yourself. You're not inside my body, so don't ever insult nobody.
I doubt many people are getting inside your body anytime soon, quite frankly. Wait a minute. Ma'am, please stop approaching me. I'm back.
No, come here, because I'm going to teach you.
Uh-oh, pepper spray. Cart Narcs out.
Wow.
The dudes go crazy. Everybody goes crazy on him. And he's like, excuse me, sir, you didn't put your cart back. And people lose their minds.
I've talked about it with you guys. I've talked about it with Dr. Drew frequently. I think, and it's something I've been drilling down on a lot lately, just with thought, which is shame. That's always that you want someone to see red. You can't calling people a douchebag or a fat ass or
Right.
something. Doesn't
Right.
no one cares anymore. Shame. You shame them.
Yeah.
That's where
know
the
they've done.
ire.
Yes.
That's where it comes out.
Yes.
Shine a light on the misdeed.
Right. It has to be they know they're doing something wrong and you've caught them and you've confronted them with it. And then once you get to the intersection of shame, there's two directions you can go. You can turn right and go the right direction, which is my bad.
Right.
I'm busted. I got caught. It's not going to happen again. Most people go hard left, which is fuck you.
Yeah.
You're not my boss. Get out of my face and all that. But there's really any time something happens, you're at a little
Crossroads.
You're a little crossroads, and there is a direction you can go.
Yeah.
But fewer and fewer Americans are going that direction.
Seems that way.
All right.
I'm glad he mentioned that it was in the handicap walkway area because generally people put them in, wherever they put them. Some's lazy, some's whatever. But in the handicap walking area, you can't do that.
I agree, and it's a perfect example of what people do. What we need to create a society is what do you do when you're done? So when you're done with the ketchup, you're done with the ketchup. Now you need to flip the lid up for the company ketchup and squeeze your ketchup out. Once you've got your ketchup, you're finished.
Yeah.
So why do you need to flip the top down?
Not a reason in the world.
Once you've
Yeah.
put your burrito in the microwave and blown it up, you're done.
Yeah.
You got your hot burrito.
Right.
You're done. Once your dog takes a dump on the lawn, neighbor's lawn, the dog's done and you're done as well.
Yeah.
When you're done with the shopping cart, you're done. What makes a society is what you do after you're done.
It's true.
Do you push it back? And because now these are calories burnt after you, your highness, your lordship, is done. The dog poop, the shopping cart. And I would argue that what you do after you're done is basically all society is. You're done with this fast food. Where do the wrappers go?
Right.
You're done with the cigarette. Where does the butt go? You're done with the poop. Where does the poop go? When you live in a narcissistic society, we're sort of turning toward narcissism. It is about you. And whether it's the ketchup or the cart or the dog poop or the cigarette butt, you are done. That's a problem with society.
Yeah.
Because others aren't done with the shopping cart or the handicap walkway.
Or now
or
you've inconvenienced them.
Or the ketchup that's got all the dried crust along the top, or the neighbor with the dog poop on the lawn. You really just take a society, if you have a whole bunch of people who aren't done with the cart until the cart goes back in and aren't done with the company ketchup until the lid snapped tight back on. If you have a bunch of those people, you have a good society. Probably you take a society like Japan. There's probably a lot of people who aren't done until the thing is put back.
Conscientious.
Right. And that's all you're really asking for. And the problem is it's kind of the opposite of the self-esteem movement, which is I am done with this cart.
I used to work in retail, as you know, and something that was so obnoxious that we'd be told at the time, because I hated my job, but it has stuck with me, and I think it applies. Customer service starts after the sale. And that was when I was like, shut up. But that's what this is. It's like, well, I got my commission. What do you want from me? But now it's time to start, hemming the pants and making sure they're happy with their purchase. And I think that applies.
Oh, yeah. It's a good companies have the same attention to detail and courtesy and everything after the sale as they do when they're trying to make the sale.
Right.
All right. Also, a reason to hate Betty White. No one's been able to summon a thought about that.
Yeah, this is sacrilege.
It really is. I mean, she's beloved and she's adored and
Was,
but
still adored.
Beloved, yeah.
But a reason to hate Betty White.
Yes.
I was listening to a news report shortly after she died, and they mentioned that the famous Pink's hot dog stand in Hollywood, California, has a hot dog named after Betty White. If you'd like to know what is on the hot dog,
Oh, no.
the answer is nothing.
What?
It's plain?
Like it's a plain hot dog.
No mustard,
It's
ketchup.
the Betty White. By the way, they're all the Betty White hot dog when you pull it out of the fucking boiling
Steamer.
water. It's all. They're all Betty. They all start life as a Betty White hot dog.
Is that
like
how she
a
liked her
plain
hot dog?
That's how she took her dogs.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either. So maybe there's other things about her that we need to get into
Dig a
as
little
well.
more.
Maybe a little less praise.
She did say that the reason she lived so long was because of hot dogs and vodka. So,
Okay, now she's back in.
All right, I like her now.
Put that on the hot dog.
Yeah, but she turned out she liked the plain dog, and Pink's named the plain dog after her.
That's a ringing endorsement for Pink's, because usually, you want to cover up whatever's on the hot dog, and but if it's good enough to eat plain, if it's good enough for Betty White, God bless.
yes. If you guys want to know what's in the Huell-Hauser hot dog,
More than anything in the world. Warthog?
yeah, just put it up, Caitlin. It's 2 hot dogs in 1 bun.
Sure.
Oh, no.
Mustard, chili, cheese, and onions.
Wow, now that's a man's
dog, yeah.
Boy, did that guy love hot dogs.
Caitlin, look up the Mark in the Morning dog. We had one too.
So funny that he had 2 dogs. He was such a fan of the phallic symbol.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And
jam
they have
it
like
in
a pastrami hot dog burrito there too.
I look, at a certain point, it ceases to be a hot dog.
Yeah.
Although I had this thought to give Betty her due, I think I would rather have a plain hot dog than a ketchup-only hot dog.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I thought, maybe I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because I'm always talking about the sort of purity of something, and I don't want a bunch of shit on it, but I do like the Chicagoan style hot
Well, the
dog.
shit is part of the thing.
But I think I would
Really?
take a plain dog, provided it was a good, decent dog and bun, over. If the only option was the ketchup one, I think I'd go plain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Flip
'Cause
a
you're not-
coin.
yeah, you're
Anybody
not
else?
five.
Dawson's not?
100% agree.
Really?
Last night I had a Louisiana hot, and those I just love the flavor of. No mustard, no nothing on those. I always eat those plain. But yeah, I'm
Chris,
with you.
what about
Ketchup
you?
sucks.
You like?
I hate to say it. I like ketchup on a hot dog. I don't always get it, but if it's on that hot dog, I will eat it happily.
All right. Well, now we need a little poll. It's a coin toss for Brian.
Yeah, at that point, if it's just ketchup versus just the dog, I don't care. Another one's going to be great, so flip a coin.
I'd rather have ketchup than nothing, Betty.
Yeah, all right. Let's not keep her out of our crosshairs. Also, somebody tweeted me a story that I'm always interested in, which is a long lost Aston Martin DB5 James Bond.
No shit.
The James Bond car, I think Goldfinger.
Oh, wow.
Car was stolen,
No shit.
and they found it
By Goldfinger?
after all these years. I mean,
25 years, I think.
It was stolen like 98 or something.
Wow.
Yeah, or 97. Yeah, like
Sure.
25 years
Yeah.
gone. Sort of in the article, well, there's a couple of things. Gina's got some of the nuts and the bolts. I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah. So you're right. And the car, by the way, appeared in Goldfinger and Thunderball.
The sequel.
Okay.
I mean, not the sequel, the follow-up to
It mysteriously vanished from a secure hangar at Florida's airport in Boca Raton in the late 90s. But now it's been found by this company called Art Recovery International, which sounds kind of badass.
Yes.
They specialize in lost or stolen luxury goods, particularly anything, the wilder the better. Reportedly found Bond's stolen silver ride in a private setting, quote unquote, in the Middle East. Did not give an exact location. They say that they don't believe the current possessor of the car knew it was stolen.
Yeah, I think they say that because they want them to come
Give it back?
forward or
Yeah.
say something. Now, prices.
well, this might be the most iconic James Bond car, aside from like the Lotus Esprit that turned into a boat,
Yeah.
or a submarine, or whatever it was.
Right. This is, Gina's got it, but I think the guy bought it, the owner, bought it like 84, 85.
86.
86, sorry, mid-80s. He bought it for $250,000. Then it was stolen 10 years, 11 years later, and the insurance payout was $4.2 million, which that's a tidy profit for a car you bought for $250,000 in the mid 80s. Now we're in the mid or later 90s, a decade later, and you got yourself $4.2 million.
Plus, they offered a $100,000 reward for information.
Now they say the car's worth $25 million.
I'd take the over.
And
James Bond is one of those iconic, enduring, icons. No, not to repeat myself,
Yes.
and that car is the James Bond car.
Yeah, and has some more to do with the economy and Bitcoin and T-bills being worth 0.3% and stuff like that. People are getting into the memorabilia. It's all hot now. But it's also, if you're the insurance company, you cut this guy a check for $4.2 million. You want your shit back.
I'd ask for that back.
And especially if it's going to go up $1 million every 4 years. Or 2 years or 1 year, you're going to want that thing back. So it would behoove you to hire JJ Arms or whoever it is to go find that car. And I've said all the time when we were talking about James Dean's 550 Spider Porsche that was stolen out of Florida. They think, again, everything ends up in Florida and then goes to Dubai,
Chop shop,
basically. I said, this stuff is in a bunker somewhere in the Middle East. It's not here.
Right.
It's somewhere that we don't have jurisdiction over, and it's hidden away, and it's in some rich Sultan guy's collection in the bunker next to the rape room in the basement. That's where this stuff... And there has to be tons of this stuff. I mean, think about World War II and all the plundering that went on.
Of course.
All the art, all the jewelry. And, again, James Dean's car somewhere, too. I would argue maybe in the same collection. Who knows?
Check the basement.
But they found the car.
Sir, as long as we're here.
Yeah,
Maybe look around.
Yeah.
I'm not known to side with insurance companies, but I'd say if you're getting your $25 million car back, they probably expect their money back.
They own the car, too.
What do you mean?
Oh, that's how it works.
Oh, right.
And it's kind of, so this is interesting. The guy pays $250. It gets stolen, and he gets $4.2 million. So in the later 90s.
He did all right.
This stuff did not explode quite yet, so he's got to be feeling pretty good about that investment, right? So he got his 4.2, but then somebody found it and it's 25, but it's theirs.
Wow.
So
I didn't take that part into consideration.
Now, on one hand is, well, you got paid for your car. The other part is, I didn't want to sell my car. It was stolen.
Do you think he should be able to give 4.2 to the insurance company to get it back?
No, because I think the 4.2 could definitely be adjusted for today's inflation, which might make it 7.7 or something. That seems like a conversation to have. And then you'd have to back out whatever the expenses were for the recovery team and all that, which they would pad the shit out of.
When we bought our house for significantly less than $4.2 million, we signed a lot of papers. I have to imagine this guy signed his rights away, 10 times over.
I'm sure he should at least have the right of first refusal.
Right.
So they should go, well, we'll take 25 mil for you to be reunited with your James Bond car. Although it's a little dubious or difficult to even assign a strong number to that car because there are no comps for it. But a lesser, I think, Chris, wasn't it another DB5 that was a lesser kind of car that they toured around for publicity and stuff like that during the time, but it wasn't the hero car or something.
That's right, yeah.
Sold for 6 and change?
6.4.
Recently, right?
Yeah, that was in 2019.
So that's a jumping off point, but it wasn't the car. And this car now has a story.
Yeah.
Which is part of what you're selling. Anyway, found it interesting. Now, I don't know. Does the guy who have it, what did he pay for it?
Because he bought it.
I don't
Unbeknownst
think
to him,
he has any rights. I mean, most insurance companies, if not all of them, they just say it's ours and it's our choice if we decide we want to sell it back to you. Typically, they do that, but that's like if like a Honda Civic or my Prius got stolen, they would want to do that. But this is so different. Like I don't know what the move is.
Well, this guy in the Middle East paid somebody. He probably didn't steal the car or dispatch his men to steal the car. So and at the time the car was stolen, the insurance said 4.2. So he could have paid $5 million for this car to somebody. It's interesting.
I really want to know. I want to know what country it is. I want to know what kind of sultan this guy is. And exactly, like, how did it get to him?
And you have to operate under the laws of that country, right? For
Right.
the insurance company to take it back.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, I have a quote from the guy from Art Recovery International. He says, "I'm hopeful that the possessor will come forward voluntarily before I have to make an announcement. It's my policy to give possessors of stolen and looted objects every opportunity to do the right thing. I don't believe the current possessor knew the car was stolen when he or she acquired it. Now they do know. I think they should make every effort to have a discreet, confidential discussion about how we clear the title to this iconic vehicle."
It's the Middle East. No
Diplomatic.
need for the he or she part of this.
We
I know
know
he's
where it's
covering
going,
himself, but chances are it's a dude.
Play
Probably.
the odds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds
Play
me
the odd jobs.
of the crazy story that I was a part of. In that I was there. That when I've told you guys this, but it was a crazy story, which is that '79 Porsche 935 that won Le Mans, the biggest race in the world, won it outright with the Whittington brothers driving it. It was a crazy story, but the Whittington brothers turned out to be drug dealers, and they ended up getting busted, and they ended up owing a lot of people and the government and everyone a lot of money. And the guy bought the car later on from the Indianapolis Motorsport Museum, Bruce Meyer, a friend of mine. He bought the car from a museum and then had the car restored, probably cost several $100,000 to bring it back, and then brought it out to the track for the first time ever at winter speed days at Laguna Seca. And at some point, a flatbed truck and a bunch of unmarked Crown Vic showed up with guys with DEA agent windbreakers on. They showed up, loaded it up, and left.
That's not fair. No. They don't get to do that.
I know. It was all a joke.
Oh,
That's very funny. Have you told that before?
Yes, I think
The
so.
guy who restored the car
That's awesome.
hired
He got
25
punked.
guys, put
That's
windbreakers on them, put a flatbed out there, and unmarked cars, and they all rolled into the paddock at Laguna Seca after this guy had taken it out. This is the first time this
debut.
It's a $10 million Porsche. It's the last Porsche production-based car to win Le Mans outright.
Right.
It has an immense value to it. And this guy just got done with this 2-year restoration, and it was going to be back again. And the DEA shows up and puts it on a flatbed truck.
That's hilarious.
And takes it away. There's a film of that, Max Zapata, somewhere. And I was there. I was driving a Nissan, but I was
Did
I
you
was
see
there.
this happening?
Yeah. I just was like, holy shit, it's on. And it all made sense. Everyone knew the Whittington brothers were
it's baked into
notorious
the story.
drug dealers.
When
And
was the reveal? After the guy had a heart attack and
Today
was rushed
on
to the
the show
hospital?
right now.
the guy, Bruce Myers, is he's a gregarious, sweet guy. He just sort of watched the whole thing happen, and then he got in his car and he followed, not his race car, his rental car, whatever. And he just followed the flatbed. Like, I want to know where this thing is going. And I guess as far as the practical joke went, they didn't figure how far they were going to go away from the track. He was supposed to be crying at the track, but he got in the car and was following the flatbed that the priceless Porsche was on.
That's great.
Underestimated tenacity.
Yeah.
I know. Well, that's
composure.
why he is who he is. Do we get our staff poll in, Max Spada?
Yes.
Our hot dog? Our
Yes.
hot dog poll?
All right, so team plain hot dog, Dawson, as we know. Also, Gary, Matt Fondelier, and Ryan. Team ketchup, me, Kaylin, and Emmy.
And you got Gina.
Yeah, I'm Team
Yeah.
Ketchup.
Brian, you got to declare major, man. I think we're split down the middle
I
here.
was thinking about it as they were reading the results, and 52-48, I go ketchup.
I knew it. I knew you'd go the
Welcome,
wrong
Brian.
direction.
Ketchup
I
for
knew
everyone.
it. I knew it. I knew it. Wow. But split.
Yeah.
It's interesting because when I had the thought, I was like, I love everything on a hot dog, but I think this is the one instance I would take it plain. And I thought, would anyone else do that? I don't know. Would I do that? I was. It
real
was
soul
vexing.
search,
I did some soul searching when I was walking here to the
I
studio.
think on a plain hot dog, you'll take anything that resembles a tang or a taste or something. You won't, but half of us will.
I hate ketchup on a hot dog that much. All right, let's see. Let me talk about the X chair. That's right. Well, I used to dread sitting in my old chair. Well, actually, I've had the X chair in my office for a number of years, so I actually enjoyed my office chair. But the one before, ugh. Now I got my X chair, and I look forward to it. I'm sitting in one right now. More comfort means more productivity. X chair pays for itself thanks to the work you're getting done. You're that much more productive. You're comfortable and you're getting more done. Turn on the LMX massage feature and choose from 4 different massage options. And if it's too hot, you can put a little cooling into it. If it's too cool in the office, put a little heat in your seat. You just flip the LMX temperature regulator to heat or cool your lower back. Plus, customized support from X-Chair's patented dynamic variable lumbar, or DVL. Try X-Chair for yourself risk-free for 30 days. Once you realize how much you love your X-Chair, you'll never go back to your current chair. It's X-Chair. Right, Dawson?
Go to xchairadam.com now. That's the letter X, chair80am.com, or call 1-844-4XChair. For $100 off your order, X-Chair has a 30-day guarantee of complete comfort, and you can refinance and you can finance your purchase for as little as $30 a month. xchairadam.com.
All right. Yeah, there's a picture of the priceless 935 on a flatbed at the track.
Looks pretty official.
Guys wearing DEA agent. I don't know where you recruit those guys. They probably work.
You got to look the part.
Yeah, so Bruce Myers is just standing there looking at his car getting loaded up, and there's a bunch of guys wearing windbreakers, and they took it. Oh. They pulled up in black SUVs.
It's good.
It's
so thorough. Yeah.
And not only that, let me tell you something. Putting the, farting in the coffee can like I did with Kimmel, or putting a, cellophane over the toilet bowl or something, that's fine. Short sheeting the bed, that's cute. That's cute, but it's when the pranksters have money to throw around. That's when it, when Jimmy was fooling me about the Natalie Maine from the Dixie Chicks and all that kind of stuff. He had to buy a 6-foot sub. He had to buy flowers. There's an investment there. He bought a giant chocolate chip cookie. He spent $200 on that ruse. You know what I mean? Bruce, this guy had to spend, Bruce Canepa, the guy who put the thing on, he had to get the flatbed. He had to hire a bunch of people. He had to get windbreakers made. I mean, this cost a couple grand, no problem.
Worth it.
It's worth it. I wish more rich guys would get into the pranks because they can pull them off.
George Clooney's like, you rang.
That's right.
I wish.
All right, we'll do the. There's a picture of the rich guys after they got the car back.
Oh,
yeah,
a lot of yucks.
All right, we will take a break. We have the Rotten Tomatoes game to play right after this. We have the results from 2021.
Yeah,
a Twitter fan gave us the score.
At JMan510 did he recorded all the wins and losses over the year. Gina Grad, you had 7 wins.
Oh.
This is when the 3 of us played together. No guests, no someone out of the studio, etc.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Gina, you had 7 wins.
Thank you.
And your overall score was 2,539 points.
Right.
Adam, you had 9 wins.
Yeah, big 9.
Yeah.
And your score was 2,402.
So that's 16 combined for you two?
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
Brian saw this tweet. Brian had 17 wins and a score of 2,131.
Well, I'm going full Joe Willie Broadway Namath on this Rotten Tomatoes game, Gina.
Okay.
You're going to try and kiss her?
You know what that means? I predict a victory for the Ace Man
All right.
in advance. I'm calling it.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Fuck you, Brian.
Well, now that everyone is back at work and school, except for LAUSD, of course, we've all gone back to our home away from homes It's a strange feeling when you've been away for so long, and when it happens in movies, the characters often have to grapple with how things have changed since they left. So with that in mind, this week's theme, movies about returning home.
Oh.
By the way, I ran into Sonny last night, one of his buddies, and Sonny's like, no school tomorrow. And I'm like, why not? I thought you guys were back finally after coming back from the holiday and whatever. And then I said to him, why no school tomorrow? I was like, oh. And I was like, but he was standing next to Hendrik, his smart friend. And I was like, Hendrik, you're a good student, right? Yep. Why no school tomorrow? I was like, they don't have enough tests. They don't have enough COVID tests. So that's why I'm bring back. And I was like, but all I needed to know about the two students was Sonny was wrestling with Phil going, oh. And Hendrik, who's a good student, knew why.
Right.
He demanded answers.
Good old Hendrik.
Good old Hendrik. That's right.
Our first film begins at the end of the Third Crusade in the year 1194. The lost son of King Richard has escaped prison and returns home to find his kingdom overrun by a cruel sheriff and corrupt bishop.
Right.
Naturally, it's time to fight back, so a group of bandits meet in the woods of Sherwood Forest and make a plan to steal from the rich and give to the poor. And I think you know the rest. Kevin Costner, Morgan Freeman, and Christian Slater star in 1991's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Movie
Look into my eyes.
had a good song, yeah.
You will see.
Who sung that?
Brian
Come on.
Adams.
I was going to say Brian Adams, but I don't know. You sounded like a chick singing. Maybe it's because you are.
That's because I went down.
Did
a register.
Costner get shit for a bad accent in this movie, or is
I
that
don't think
another
he
one
had
I'm
an
thinking?
accent.
No accent.
Oh, he did
He has
no
no
accent.
accent.
That's what he got shit for, probably.
Oh, okay.
He always had a bad accent in so many movies, and yet in this one, played it clean.
You know what, though? I think that's what he was probably thinking. Like, I'm going to just cut my losses here.
All right. I don't like dusty movies where they take place in the desert and people are
Right.
rolling around in the dirt. I also don't like
This is the forest, though.
I don't
this is
like the
dewy.
medieval dirty movies either.
They
where
all
the-
very dirty.
Interesting how you sort of recoil at things that involve bad hygiene.
Yet I lean into them in my real life.
Interesting. Because it's not fantasy for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He's seeing people eating gruel in a muddy floored hut. I just go, All right. They didn't like this one. I didn't see it. I remember it got a bunch of shit. That's all I recall.
You're probably right. I will say two things. One, it was a huge hit. There's a massive hit. Number two, Alan Rickman was legitimately good. He hammed it up as like the sheriff. No, whoever he was, the sheriff or whoever he was, he hammed it up, and it was very funny. But rare bright spot.
Was this pre-Men in Tights?
Oh, yeah. It was 91.
Okay.
All
I
right.
think.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
I changed it from. I started at 39. I went to 41.
Ooh.
Bumped it up.
48.
43.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, is rotten at 52%.
Okay. What'd you say?
41. Well, we're all in the hunt.
The horrors of war are examined in our next film about a trio of steelworkers whose lives are all destroyed by their experiences in Vietnam.
Oh, yeah.
Reintegrating into civilian life after being on the front lines is tough for most soldiers, but leave it to a terrifying game of Russian roulette to permanently fuck you up for life. Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken, Meryl Streep, and in his final role, John Cazale star in 1978's The Deer Hunter.
Who's seen this?
I just saw it recently, like a year and a half
Okay.
ago.
This is one of those I keep meaning to see, especially because Fredo's in it.
By today's standards, it's slow, very slow. Have you seen it, Adam?
I've seen parts of it. I don't know if I've watched it soup to nuts. There's a genre of really gritty 70s movies that just depress the shit out of me.
So
and
no dirt.
This is up there.
No mud, no
Oh,
grit.
wait, no.
No.
Lots. Oh, yeah, say lots of mud in this movie.
Oh,
The
that's
second
right.
half
I
of
want to
it.
watch Can't Stop the Music and Xanadu. Those are my
Over
two.
and over.
Over and over again.
The first half of this movie is like, I'd say 80 minutes of graduation night, I think is what it is, or some like great departure or going off to war or such and such, and then it smash cuts to fucking hardcore war scenes. You're like, whoa!
But this movie did become kind of the poster child for like tough cinema. Like,
Oh yeah,
right?
this is 70s noir. I mean, not noir, but
yeah,
yeah, it's gritty, tough, dirty.
very
authentic.
I think very appreciated by the critics. That's what I think.
Okay. Right.
It got nominated, right?
Maybe.
Must have. Oh, yeah, got
That's
nominated.
a 100%
Yeah,
affirmative.
Brian was trying to drive us one direction there.
Hey, here's something while we're all thinking about this. John Cazale, I think I mentioned on the show years ago. He was in 5 films where he died of cancer, untimely death. All 5 nominated for Best Picture.
Really?
Yeah, 5 for 5.
Well, 2 of them are Godfather.
So I guess gave it away. It's nominated for Best Picture, but this one, 2 Godfathers, The Conversation, Dog Day Afternoon.
Wow.
Or maybe it was he was in archival footage for Godfather 3, was also got nominated for Best Picture.
All right, I've come in at 93.
I went perfect 100. This movie's an all-time classic.
91.
We have a 5-point deduction.
This is 100 points.
The Deer Hunter sucked. And it is certified fresh at 91%.
Oh, right. Eat that, Brian.
And the people have it at 91.
It's a perfect 91.
It's an all-timer.
Yeah.
This next movie centers on a 20-something actor and waiter who returns to his hometown in New Jersey after his mother dies, asking big questions about how to reconnect with a place that never really felt like home to begin with. The romantic dramedy was written by, directed by, and stars Zach Braff, along with Natalie Portman, Peter Sarsgaard, and Ian Holm from 2004 Garden State.
I remember this being a really big deal. Soundtrack was excellent.
It was a phenomenon.
Yeah.
This should get some of your Little Miss Sunshine ire.
It does. It wasn't that great.
It's the same category of good, but wildly overrated.
Right.
Yeah, this was like a band that was fine, but everyone had to pretend like they loved it. This was that.
Yeah.
This is the Radiohead of movies.
Well put.
I mean, it's like, hey, do you just have to say you like Radiohead? You listen to Radiohead? How good is Radiohead? It's like this was Little Miss Sunshine and Garden State, and I've watched quite a bit of this movie, if not the whole thing. And it was a fine little indie,
venture.
Yeah, it was a ditty.
Yeah.
good.
But it
There's
didn't.
no doubt.
We didn't need to embrace it the way we did.
And did anyone really watch this movie more than once? We all saw it.
Sorry,
Okay, Brian.
Sorry.
It also feels it feels really self-indulgent
Yeah.
when people are like, I'm depressed and that's my thing.
Wasn't she kind of nutty but kind of magical? Wasn't that her thing?
She was kooky. Yeah.
Okay.
No, there's no magic. You know what I mean? She's a little bit of a free spirit.
Right.
All right.
Let's see.
All right. This is tough because we know the people will probably have it in the high 60s, mid 70s, somewhere in there. But this was a darling that the critics liked. And
I just had a thought.
oh, man, I'm toggling. All right. It feels a little low, but I want 89.
I'll bet this is higher than the fucking Deer Hunter. 92.
Oh.
You guys are
it's a critical
insane.
darling.
Then I might have busted out because I said 77.
Garden State is certified fresh at 86%.
Okay.
All right. And people have it at 88.
All right.
So it was higher than the
There you
critics.
go.
Next, a blacklisted screenwriter wakes up with amnesia in a small town. Only the residents mistake him for a local boy declared missing in action during
No.
World War II.
No one saw this.
As the town optimistically celebrates the return of who they think is a war hero, questions soon arise about the man's true identity and motivations. Directed by Shawshank Redemption's Frank Darabont and starring Jim Carrey, Martin Landau, and Laurie Holden from 2001, The Majestic.
Oh, God.
No one saw
Carrey.
this.
No.
That was a huge bomb.
Hey, Max Bass, some homework for you. The trailer for Time Cop.
Okay.
Because after later on in the evening when it was clear that there was no school tomorrow and little Hendrik was hanging out in the theater with Sonny, at some point late in the evening, my Sonny called up and he goes, "What's a bad movie?" And I was
How much
like,
time you got?
It's a bad sign.
yeah, and I go, "You guys should watch Con Air," and he's like, "No, like a bad movie." And I said, "I don't know, watch Armageddon or something." And he goes, "No, we just want the trailer. Want the trailer for a bad movie." And I was like, "Huh." I appreciate it when little boys start entering the comedy realm, and now at a certain point they appreciate bad. And I
As some
said,
genre.
I was just upstairs going, Time Cop, Jean-Claude Van Damme's Time Cop.
That's a great poll, man.
That could be a good, bad. I didn't bother to watch it, but 1994's Time Cop. Let's see, do we have that, Max Spada?
Okay.
I've never been, first, total vindication.
Yeah.
Secondly, I got to be the greatest dad in the world because I was just standing on top of the stairs. I haven't even thought about Time Cop. And I was just like, bad trailer.
Yeah.
I've never seen the Time Cop trailer, but I knew it had to be bad. It has got to be bad. It's got Jean-Claude in it. It's 1994.
I like the concept. I could see myself watching that if there was nothing else on. However, if that's the kind of movie you're into, I think Brian will agree with me. Watch Looper. Much better.
Oh, dude, yeah, Looper's right.
Yeah, remember, he wants bad.
Yeah, right.
They thought they could jump ahead a decade, by the way, to 2004. I was having this conversation with Olga yesterday, which is they have to turn the power off at the house for a couple of days because they're fixing things on the power pole. I'm like, we don't even have a power grid in 2022. What are the chances we're going to invent a train that launched people into the past?
Slim.
Yeah. Some would say almost none.
The movie came out in 94. Is it 10 years?
Yeah.
From
Look at us now.
Okay.
All right.
Time Cop.
The Majestic.
Oh, the Majestic.
Oh, I thought we were doing Time Cop.
Should have done Time Cop. All right, the Majestic. I don't know. I heard it was supposed to be good, but it wasn't. But was it?
And it's got the pedigree. It's got Frank Darabont, the director of Shawshank, as was mentioned, to Jim Carrey, but for some reason it didn't connect. That said, maybe it was well reviewed. I literally don't know.
Gina, you see this?
No.
Brian, do you see it?
I did not.
Oh, boy.
I've been burned by that before where it's like, oh, no one's ever said, oh, the Majestic's great, you should see it. Maybe it is.
But you know how you talk about like ingredients and soup? This has all the right ingredients, and for that, I think it's going to get a bump.
All right. I don't know. What year? Is this before Time Cop or after?
2001. This is post Time Cop.
Post? All right. So this is PT? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Gina, Time Cop is one word, please.
Oh, excuse me.
I don't know.
He's not a cop who does time. He's a time cop.
I can't even decide if this is rotten or fresh. I can't
either.
Someone's going to have to
I feel like
take a dive.
I feel like it.
The deep end.
All right.
Too high.
You guys ready?
I guess.
I go rotten at 53.
Oh, my God, 52.
Wow.
Just barely fresh, 62.
The Majestic is rotten at 42%.
Got a close game brewing here,
I think so.
people.
Well, finally, the heroes in our last film find themselves rocketing from 1985 to 2015 before returning home to an alternate 1985 that's nothing like the home they remembered. It's clear now the only option is to return to an even stranger home back in 1955, where multiple travelers from both 1985 and 2015 are all attempting to alter the past for the future. Everything's going great until someone gets accidentally sent back to 1885.
Oh, it's this one.
It's pretty straightforward, really. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and Leah Thompson star. And Back to the Future Part 2.
Oh, I thought this was 3.
No, at the end of 2.
Oh, right. That's the cliffhanger. Oh, this is one of my favorite sequels of all time.
I agree. I feel like this is the rare worthy sequel to a beloved perfect movie.
This is a great movie, but does it get? I don't know. Is it a punchline? I don't think so.
This game is knotted up.
It was very ambitious.
Yes.
You know what I mean? With the back and the forth and the back and the forth.
And I think we can ignore the last minute and a half of it because it was just setting up 3 that nobody liked.
Well, this is going to settle it.
I like 3.
But the question is Brian gaslighting us by saying how much he liked it, but it's going to go low?
I think Gina and I both genuinely like this movie.
think this is a beloved sequel, but for fans, I don't know about critics.
Are the critics tough? They're tough on sequels oftentimes.
But how can you get mad at Marty McFly and Doc Brown?
They're tough on sequels.
Shut up, Brian.
I cannot remember it.
It's fantastic.
It's really good.
And remember, Biff steals the old sports almanac, so he starts betting.
Kind of a Donald Trump figure.
Like
I
Trump.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see.
Inspired.
I gotta think.
All right.
Come on.
This is going to settle it. You guys ready?
Yeah.
74.
Oh, this is close. 81.
As an homage to the movie itself, 85.
Back to the Future Part 2 is fresh at 66%.
But look at the audience score.
I know.
85. That's a travesty.
Yeah, they're tough on. It's too mainstream.
I just
too
knocked
big
myself out.
Songs.
This is a great movie.
This is close.
I know, but you only gained like a few points. It might have been enough.
What'd you go with? 81.
81.
Yeah, gained 6 or 7
here we
points.
Just to refresh the rules, the audience score does not count.
Thanks.
Oh, come on.
Thanks, Dawson.
Gina grad. You had a 5-point deduction. What did you do with it?
Shat upon it.
You made the podium for third place
Fuck!
with a score of 52.
Damn.
Adam Carolla called
That's a good
his
third place
shot.
score.
He called his shot. He said he was going to win.
Oh.
Most recently, this happened during the 2021 ACE Awards when Foot Drapes took the award for Invention of the Year. Adam Carolla, your score of 35
Wow.
puts you solidly in either first or second place, leaving us the bald one, who usually just goes through life being a disappointment to all of us.
That's really hurtful.
But today, he's a disappointment to himself. Your score of 44 puts you in second place and makes you first loser for the first game of Rotten Tomatoes in the year 2022.
First one doesn't count.
Exhibition game.
Out to a commanding lead for 2022. All right, let's see. Is Sebastian here yet, Max Pata? He's due to pull up. And he's a radio guy. Radio guys, especially producers, got to be prompt. In the Woody Show, I got to ask Sebastian about this, but the format, you know, it doesn't get any. The morning show call time is tough. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to do a morning show on the West Coast and you're going to syndicate to the East Coast, then it's not a 5 a.m. call time. It's a 2 a.m. call time or some version of that.
I swear Woody says they work from 2 to 10.
I think so.
Insane. And we've done morning radio. I've never heard of that.
I have pulled into that studio at 9:15 in the morning. They're all there. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what time do you guys go roll in? Like 2:30 or whatever it is. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Because if that's the happy, if that's what you want. If you want to be syndicated, you got to play to the 3 hours ahead crowd.
My thing is like, if I'm going to take that gig, I would like a bump. And they would go, well, for working 8 hours or for showing up so early, I'd go, no, this is going to take 11 to 13 years off of my life.
Absolutely.
You cannot take a human being. You can't take rats and keep them up for 4 days without them chewing their own foot off. Yep. There is no way you can get going to bed at 6 in the evening and waking up at 1 a.m. every day. There's no way that can't with your mind. So we're going to need
the wear and tear needs to be accounted for.
But he is here, so we'll talk to him about the crazy sketch and about the Cart Narcs and what was going through his mind during that fateful day with spry 80-year-old Regis Philbin. First, I'll tell you about Keeps. 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time they're 35. Keeps, a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor consultations and medications delivered straight to your door every 3 months in discreet packaging. Low-cost treatments start at just $10 per month. Proven results. Keeps has more 5-star reviews than its competitors. And you can check out the before and after photos as well. Prevention is key. Treatments can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so act fast with Keeps, right, Dawson?
If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/Adam to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/Adam to get your first month free. keeps.com/Adam.
That is Keeps. All right. Sebastian Davis, producer and entrepreneur, raconteur, game show contestant right after this.
And now, from the cutting room floor of the 2021 ACE Awards, honorable mention for invention of the year, the Peter North beats off on line.
An autographed Steph Curry rookie card sold for big bucks, setting a record for highest price paid for a trading card.
Peter, you want to blow up the internet? I get that card. I pay $725,000 for it. We lay it down and you desecrate it.
Well,
I'm just thinking of a whole series of Peter North beats off on. You know what I mean?
That's good.
We'll go with the Quran at some point. And then you and I have
No,
we have to
please.
go to
Have to go to
exile for the
hiding.
rest of our lives. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of
That's a
stuff.
terrible idea.
In 11 and a half months, join us for the 2022 ACE Awards.
Could blow up the internet.
That's one way to put it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More than that.
That's right.
You could also do a cameo type thing where, like, you send us a picture of your mother-in-law or that ex or that
Sure.
school principal you hated back in the day, and Peter takes
He'll
care of
paint
it.
it.
He'll
A
paint
drawing
it
of
up.
Muhammad.
That's right. Sebastian Davis is here. He's a producer. He has a YouTube and Instagram at Cart Narcs. I was making a game show out of this. Cart Narcs, and we played that. It's very fun. I want to get into that. I want to get in the Woody schedule. We found out that you were the contestant I played with.
Back in 2008, I believe it was, Adam. And yeah, unfortunately, bittersweet that we had to come together again through the death of Betty White like this.
Yes.
But yeah, that was quite the time. And I'm sure you've played it as much as we've played it on the air.
No, we haven't heard it.
Who was it fault?
Does footage exist?
Was it I, the man who was chosen out of the huddled masses to be on Password, or was it the man with the nasally drone? Was he not giving me the inflection I needed to know?
Inflection.
You know, like I'm sure you'd
Shots
explain when
fired.
you said south or north.
You needed inflection.
Right, because that's leading you on to thinking, oh, it's the opposite. So the guy who went through rounds and rounds of casting, who was chosen
you.
out of thousands, or Adam Carolla. No, it was me. I take full responsibility.
So what's up? Because we've all done game shows and we've all experienced something similar, but you tell us.
Well, I've done other shows since then. Price is Right, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, things like that. So maybe it was just nerves, first time being on a stage. And it was funny the whole time I'm looking at Adam because you don't know who your
So
celebrity
how did the
partners.
Price is Right go? Like, we have a bone stock 2011 Ford Mustang, $10 billion. I'm sorry, no, we have choices. $33,000, $2 jillion. No.
So what, no Plinko?
27,000, 33,000. No, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. It's a weird twist of events for The Price is Right because I was spectacularly drunk when I was on the show.
Nice.
Because it's a 4-hour something wait. You're sitting in a cattle call over at the CBS studios, and I had a little bottle of vodka because it was a day off from my regular morning show, and I overdid it.
So when we did the $1 million password, were you just doing fentanyl at that point, or were you nipping at a flask? It felt So how did the Price is Right work out?
So the way they do that is it's you just listen to the audience. They'll tell you what the right thing to do is. Basically, is they're yelling. It's the hive mind sort of thing. So just don't speak too quickly. Follow with the clues you're getting from them, and you're good to go.
Right.
And that's it.
All right. So we'll circle back to this. Oh, yes, Brian.
I want to ask, I was on Millionaire as well. I'm wondering when you were on, who was the host? What was the experience
It was the
like?
Chris Harrison.
No, it's not the real.
No. The syndicated, again, Chris Harrison.
Daytime.
R.I.P. Another victim of cancel culture, I guess. But yeah, it was easier. It was just follow.
So it wasn't imagine if Regis saw you walking out on stage and, oh, boy, here we go. Jesus
Do we
fucking
blacklist
Christ.
this guy?
Is there any vetting process?
We're looking for North Sebastian was his famous line.
So, all right. Go ahead.
Did you win? Or did you-
Because I was doing all these shows while working on a radio morning show. So my whole strategy was go for broke. There's no, oh boy, 50 grand would really make a change in my life, which it would, but it was, I just want to get as far as I can, make as many clips as I can for the show I was on.
Okay.
And that was
Wow.
the idea.
So
That's a good,
I like that. Team player. So this schedule for the Woody Show, which you can hear out here, at least on 98.7, but it's syndicated. What time do you show up to that commercial office building?
They are all in at 3 a.m. because it's syndicated. I think the only show ever that's syndicated west to east. So you got to be up and ready at 6 for Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and New Orleans, Atlanta, et cetera, et cetera. Luckily, I get to come in a little bit later because I'm just kind of the content producer. I'm just there to come in with the bits.
So the
on
mics
street
go
stuff.
hot at 3 a.m.
Yeah, and they're doing breaks for all those different markets. It's a slog.
Until 10, right?
Oh yeah, and then beyond a little bit, because we'll have Adam come in, record a piece for us that maybe will air whenever, and he's not getting up at 3 a.m. or 5 or 6. For us, I get, which is totally understandable.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, you're right. I think that is something that's never been done in the annals of radio history, going west to east and the time.
Except for Loved One.
Yeah, well, we did go from west to east. That's right. But
we just jumped to
Brian,
mind. I don't
Brian,
know why.
great job. Good point shit out of
we
the
never
gate.
got to New York, which was always something that I,
you
for some
were-
reason, I thought about.
I'm
We were
sorry
in
to show you,
Boston.
You were in
and-
Rochester, which again is not New York City, but I used to screen calls for Loveline. I get calls from Rochester all the time.
I guess you're right.
Sorry, buddy.
Now,
Sorry to remind you of your success.
Yeah, I'll take it.
But that's totally due to Woody being just a workaholic, the host of the show. Get the guys like Charlemagne and Elvis Duran in New York City certainly wouldn't keep that schedule. I talked to a radio friend of mine in Boston, and he says this Woody guy's insane. I could never do that, but he just knows to the grindstone, does it.
I think certain places we ran a day delay, maybe.
Yes, there were shows.
Others
that
were live.
Markets
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
They're behind because they'd be asking to talk to a guest who was on last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Huh. I wonder which markets those were on. I never knew what markets we were in.
Ladies, you're both impressive. Okay?
I remember being like Tennessee or Memphis or Nashville or something.
Yeah, all I remember is I think we may have won syndicated show of the year at some point, and it came up. And I said to producer Ann, "Oh, we get a trophy or something?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's in my office." And I said, which wasn't where we were. That was in the K-Rock building. And I was like, "You should bring it in." And
Can we
she's
see
like,
it?
"Okay." And I don't think she ever brought it in. So that's as far as we got with that. I think it's safe to say that producer Ann wasn't really a fan of the show.
I don't know what's in her heart.
Outwardly didn't appear to be a fan.
It didn't wear the merch.
Yeah, that's right. Did not wear the merch. So you can get in a little. What time does he go? Now there's two approaches. There's the straight ahead Bean of Kevin and Bean approach, which is I got to get up at 4. I go to bed at 8. That's just how he rolled. And then there was more the Jimmy Kimmel, Adam Carolla version, which is I go to bed at 11:30, then I take a nap at some point, break it off.
Break it up.
Right.
Got a nap.
That's the way he is. He breaks it up, but we have an executive producer who has to be there to make sure that the mics are hot and you're broadcasting the syndicate. And he's 7 o'clock. He was telling a story. Jeopardy came on, so I knew it was time for bed.
Yeah, the risk you run, exactly, if you're an early bedtime no nap guy or girl, is you miss out on pop culture, essentially. Everything to 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
We always joke, do you know people they eat meals out after dark? It's like a thing people do.
So you came out. Now, when I saw you on stage in 2008 with Regis, what was your daytime job?
I was
at that
working
point?
in Atlanta for the Regular Guys, formerly of LA.
Oh, sure.
And it was funny because Adam Carolla is standing across from me on the stage, and I wanted to say to him, "Hey, Adam, I'm friends with your old buddies who you used to work with in LA, Larry and Eric from the Regular Guys, so maybe go easy on me and screw up the chick that I'm playing against." But I kind of realized, I'm mic'd up. They would hear that. It would be a problem.
Be tossed.
Right.
The Regular Guys back KLSX days, I think.
Mid to late 90s? Because they were off before I got there.
Yeah, I wasn't here.
Oh,
But Conway would have them on.
They would get fired constantly.
Right, gotcha.
And then they would get brought back on again. But I don't know if you can find the KLSX, which 97.1, I guess, which I ended up on, now is a news channel. It's now like KNX or something.
No,
It's
it's
kinda
KNX.
They're broadcasting,
Yeah, they're using the FM feed.
Kind of depressing. But if you could find, Chris, some of the early sort of mid-90s KLSX lineups.
Thank you, dear.
They had Lycus, but they had Olsen and Ober or something.
remember that.
They had
what's his face? Cato.
Yeah, that's right, Cato.
Mother Love.
Mother Love, that's right.
Ricky Rackman.
The Nasty Man.
Yep.
Like they had this great. It was essentially a terrestrial radio's version of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Like we're going to do an FM talk format, and we're going to take a bunch of people who you've heard of, like Cato Kalin and Susan Olsen from the Brady Bunch. Yeah. And we'll just take these names that you've heard of, and we'll just put them on, which it never really. So
you say that Cato Kalin was the David Lee Roth of taking over for Howard Stern before that happened. Yes, years later.
Well
There's a name.
The Nasty Man, Mother Love. I'm trying to.
Didn't the Nasty Man end up doing like late night infomercials for Girls Gone like Ecstatic or some generic version?
That's the poor man.
Oh, you're right.
He had a Bikini Beach party.
Thank
or some
you.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yes, he did Loveline first, many years ago. But
you guys still close?
It's an interesting thing, which is. I did the Man Show for 4 years, and then I left the Man Show, and it was very successful. So they went, "Oh, we're going to do another season of the Man Show," and Joe Rogan and Doug Stanhope took over. And people always kind of wanted me to have a beef, but I was always like, "It's a gig that they took. Where's the beef?" I don't get like when somebody. It's sort of like the office people who get pissed off at the employee who's new, who works really hard. And like, hey, you're making us look bad. Well, how about you make yourself look good, lazy douche, and do something? Like, you have a beef with a person, he did it, then he got fired. He got fired, he was warned a lot. And eventually, remember why he got fired?
I remember there was something involving Bean's house.
Yeah, he gave out the address to Bean of Kevin and Bean at 12 at night or 11:30 at night. Of course, Bean was established. He goes to bed at 8. And a bunch of fans showed up, started like lighting fires in the front lawn and stuff. And so then he got fired. He got fired for that.
Is that why Bean moved to Washington?
To get away.
To get away from the doxers?
And then Ricky Rackman took over. And then he did that for like 3 years. And then I took over. And the poor man had a beef with me. I'm like, I used to listen to the show. I'm a fan of the show. It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
What's this have to do with you? You got fired years ago.
As it pertains to the Man Show, you should be left over the bank because I'm sure you got paid that fourth or
I don't think I got paid.
You're the co-creator of the show.
Oh, Brian, I'm going to sit down and talk to you about Hollywood one day. Yeah.
I'm looking at, these are a couple of these are not names I recognize. Billy Jugs. Dusty Street.
Oh, Dusty Street. Yeah.
That's a real person?
You should take over Billy Jugs's.
Thank you.
Here goes my William
did.
Jugs now.
William J. Jugs.
Billy with an I.
Who else?
Conservative host.
Jim Ladd. I don't remember him being associated with KLSX.
Jim Ladd did the rock.
He was not on KLSX.
No, this is supposed to be a KLSX lineup.
He did headsets on KLOS.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Always wore sunglasses. I've never met a more sunglassed man than Jim Ladd.
Is he now kind of a conservative Christian station talk host guy?
Help
you
us
can
out,
try to figure that
Sebastian.
one out.
That's a good question.
Walter Sabo.
No,
I don't remember that name.
one.
Cato, Kalin, Susan Olsen, Ricky Rackman, Gino Michelini.
Gino
That name
Michelini.
sounds familiar.
You remember Gino
don't.
Michelini? Gino Michelini's thing was the 5 o'clock funnies on KLOS. He would play stand-up comedy. It was such a weird kind of an innocent time. I could remember, driving my pickup truck home from the construction site on Friday at like 4 o'clock or something, like Gino Michelini, and it's time for the 5 o'clock. I guess it was 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock funnies. I'd be coming home and I'm like, oh boy, I get to hear
Some stand-up.
Rich Scheidner doing stand-up for 2 minutes.
So you think this is a vestige of days past because Uncle Joe Benson was playing the 5 o'clock funnies well into 2018?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Because they went
okay.
from KLOS to the sound with us.
Yeah, it's an interesting, for those who radio's not really going to be a part of many young people's lives today, like it was a big
He's just
part
kidding,
of ours.
Sebastian.
No, it's quite all right.
I said many, not all. A couple of losers out there still listen to terrestrial. No, it was like, no, they'll listen to it, they'll download it, it'll be in a podcast form, and they'll hear who they want to hear. But I mean, it was a weird era where you had these relationships with David Viscott and Michael Jackson, South African Michael Jackson, and Gino Michelini, and you knew all the burner Mary Turner, like you knew all the handles.
I
for
didn't know
all
Mary
these
Turner
people.
had an alias.
Yeah.
And to Adam's point, the story that the guys who were the regular guys would always tell about Adam is they'd say, yeah, back when we were in L.A., Adam and Jimmy, they'd come to all our remotes and show up and shake our hands and want to be around us because they felt like we were like their sort of, mentors in the business. And
Learned everything you know.
I don't remember going to any personal appearances with the regular guys.
Hoping for an autograph.
No, but I do remember a couple things. I remember John and Jeff.
Sure.
They were on late nights.
We're two guys who don't like to sit in traffic.
We don't believe you have to put the toilet seat down after you make number one. We're two guys who may miss the hamper with the sock and not pick it up.
Yeah.
Play by their own rules.
Yeah, they were like real straightforward.
Yep.
And
I believe, I don't know if this is urban legend, but our friend Randy Wang would do a great impression because John was kind of in charge. He was like the number one guy. And at one point, the legend has it, he would tell Jeff during commercial, Jeff, when I'm talking, the hand will go up. Now, when the hand is up, Jeff, you do not speak. When the hand goes down, Jeff, you may speak.
I was going somewhere with Jimmy, and he called in to John and Jeff with his, oh, God, I'm trying to think of the comedian.
Wallace?
Yeah, Wallace. Oh,
Steve?
God. No, not
George. Steve was a
Wallace.
football player.
He called in with the George Wallace black comedian accent and dialect, and they were like, "Come on, this," and at some point they were like, "This is a white guy." And at a certain point, I was listening on the radio, and they went, "Okay, all right," and they could both go, "Oh, I got it," because they're convinced he was white. It wasn't really black. They go, "If you're black, let's hear you rap."
Oh, my God.
And they're both thought that they'd blown the lid off this thing because it's like they knew some information that they were going to get a definitive thing. Yes. Made me laugh, but I like racist humor.
There are so many moments from that show that I hope just get lost into the ether. If anyone wants to run for city comptroller.
Nasty Man and who was it? Was it Olsen and Ober?
Yeah.
And then Ober was the guy from MTV's Remote Control.
Oh,
Ken
Ober.
Ken Ober.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
Do you remember Gretchen and the Lukes? And Sammy Phillips? Hi, guys.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Phillips.
The whole crew.
Anyway, sorry,
Thanks
Sebastian.
for letting us take
reminding us of a bunch of weird
stuff.
shit.
It's interesting.
I do. I love the history of radio.
Me too.
And I don't know. It doesn't really have a place, it's sort of in the ether, you can't really watch reruns of it.
Yeah, almost no one was recording tapes unless it was Howard Stern.
Right.
Right. Yeah. We don't, you occasionally find stuff, but it's really weird when you look back on just even TV appearances from the 90s and stuff like that. Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Like it never happened.
I think famously, Brian, this may sound familiar to you. Sure. I feel like the first Super Bowl that they taped, they went over the tape with something else the next year.
Famous story, and there's
a
a family who had the tape, and they were trying to extort the NFL for XYZ money. NFL said, nah, whatever, we'll just go back, we'll use the radio broadcast, kind of pick stuff from NFL films, and told those guys to kick rocks, basically.
And now they'll pay big money for anyone who happens to have home video footage or whatever.
So family, I wonder how the family had it.
Just recorded it off, like one of the first ever Betamaxes, basically.
Wow. And NFL taped over the Super Bowl.
They said because tape was expensive back then. They didn't know what they had.
It's weird that this happened in my lifetime.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
You wouldn't think it's a big deal.
All right. So, Sebastian, how did the whole Cart Narcs thing come about?
I always say I wish it was like I got bitten by a venomous cart or my family got hit, Batman style. But no, it was just me sitting in the office at the Woody Show with the guy who works with us, Greg, and we were talking about people being dicks and just not being thoughtful. Classic stuff, picking up after your dog, re-racking weights at the gym, not holding the door open. And then the shopping cart thing was one where we were like, well, we can attack that at the source. With someone littering, you can't. It happens, but you knows when and where. In a parking lot is super easy. So I walked out with a camera and I just said, "Hey, why'd you leave your cart there?" And instantly, just the deflections and the excuses and the threats, turned violent very, very quickly. And so we said, hey, we got something here. Let's kind of build on it step by step. And I just started adding uniform. And we got these I brought some for Gina because I know she's a big fan.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Stickers. I've got now a bulletproof vest I wear that was donated to me by a police officer in Baton Rouge after a man in Texas pulled a gun on me when I asked him to put his cart back. It's been just a slow build these past 2-3 years now it's an international phenomenon.
What is the general reaction? I mean, obviously you got to edit some stuff and we got to watch some stuff.
Does anyone ever say,
you want
"Oh my
a good
God"?
reaction?
Yeah, they do.
There's got to be plenty of those people, but is it?
It's not the majority.
It's not the majority.
The most typical reaction is they pay somebody to do that.
So they go, it's not my job.
And not my job. And do you work here to me? Mm-hmm. And which I say, it's all just deflection tactics. They want to talk about something else because they want to, number one, tell on me to a manager who doesn't exist, or or they want to say, well, and we've done tons of these analogies where, well, it's somebody else will be here. They pay people to do this, and I always, try to throw something out there like, well, yeah, they pay people to clean the toilet in the store. Do you go in there and take a dump on the seat? No, because there will be someone. Eventually, someone will follow along. Whatever. And then they talk about, I've got cancer. No offense, Bald Bryan.
Not an excuse, Brian.
Yeah,
Please.
My boyfriend broke up with me was one of the great ones I've
I'm right
heard.
here.
Wow.
It's so much fun and / sad to go down the list because they're always the same excuse, but it's certain different variations therein.
I saw a guy say, "I'm going to wait with you, and I'm calling the police," which I'm sure you've gotten more than once.
Yeah. Oh no. They call the cops a lot, and I've only talked to the police 2-3 times because my strategy or ethos really is I don't want to waste any more time of anybody else besides you, the person who left your card out. So when they go to get a manager, first off, I know what the manager's going to say. He's going to say, "Hey, get lost."
Right.
And the police are going to say the same thing. So I'm not going to waste more of their time just by sitting there for 20 minutes until so and so position of authority shows up.
Brian, you worked at a supermarket.
I did a couple tours.
You have thoughts?
What theater were you in, Ralph?
Sebastian, I would never attack your credentials, but you ever work in a grocery store?
That was my first job as a 15-year-old.
See, now you know.
Bagging groceries.
Now he knows.
All that stuff.
It's the funny. My perspective on it is not so much they pay people to do that. However, where were you in the world? Were you in the part of the world where you had when you were doing the grocery store?
It was bagging / getting carts.
Where in
LA?
the world?
Thailand.
Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah.
Okay,
Nashville,
so
Tennessee.
you know that it's kind of, as I have observed, it's nice for the baggers or whoever's job it is to go out and collect those. That's a perk of the job.
Take
you
a
get to
walk.
go outside, avoid the customers. And now, if you're attacking people who leave the cart in the handicap thing or in between the space or in an inconvenient place that's going to inconvenience a car or person, by all means, those people are sociopaths. But if they're leaving a cart like on the planter, you know what I mean? Like it's out of the way.
This is the problem. There's always these guys. We have 1,000
There's
different.
these guys. I'm the expert.
He's the expert.
Well, people will complain, why is this wheel sticking on this shopping cart? Well, because some jackass decided that he wanted to throw it up in the mulch, and now it's rolling through mud and dirt and all this other stuff. And what problem? Again, Brian, I know
Those
you're
carts are indestructible, and you know that. You know that.
I know you're a good person at
They're usually
heart.
jackass.
But when you see the sign above the cart return that says, "Please return carts here, blah, blah, we're not responsible for damage, et cetera," what do you think they mean by that?
Well, of course, it's the best place to return is at the cart return. I totally agree with that. But if it's inconvenient for some reason, there are places where it makes perfect sense.
There's some reason being I'm done with my cart and I don't want to deal with it anymore.
Wow.
No, that's not the inconvenient reason. Of course, you're done with your cart. But I'm not saying to leave it in the middle of the parking lot. That's a foul.
I'm not saying throw it through the
Well,
windshield.
Sebastian is saying what is the scenario where you don't have 45 seconds to push it back?
What's the
I don't
dire
know.
emergency?
Baby's in the car. I don't know. Maybe they got to get home.
I'll give you one. The only
45
time.
seconds, though?
I don't know.
I'll give you
No,
one.
I mean,
I'll
I'm
give you a
asking
real
you to
one.
provide one.
I just did. Whether the baby's in the car, kids crying, kids be changed. You got to get home, change the kid. Got to go with the
I
dog
still
out.
say you got 45 seconds.
You're gonna gift Brian?
For
Yeah,
the
I've
dog.
got a lazy bones on board sticker for you can slap on your car there. Well, here's the thing I always say with let's take the kid example, because we hear that a lot, and we don't bust people when we see small children with them because we know that's sitting there right in their back pocket. That's the hot excuse they've got. Is you got the kid into the cart somehow, right? Why not just reverse that process? In other words, unload your groceries, walk your cart back to the cart return. As your kid, you walk back to the car just like you did when you got there, and voila, problem solved.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Look, there's extenuating circumstances on occasion, but it's hard to make an argument that people couldn't do
In
it.
general.
And that's why when I bust people for not returning their cart, Adam, I always sit there and listen. And they'll say, I'm busy. Okay, what's going on? Tell me. And it's never, I was a woman in Compton I talked to. She's like, I got to get this food home to my mom. She's starving.
But the good time. Well, I have a couple thoughts. One is, as Brian was alluding to, going out and collecting the shopping cart as a break when you've been bagging.
Absolutely. That's
or
a
whatever.
perk of the job. Sebastian knows.
Well, look, you call it a perk, but let's really examine that, because I've had a few of these jobs, and everyone needs to think about think about your job. Okay, it's how you know you have a shit job.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because like when I carpet clean, it was back-breaking, sweaty, grueling, with the steamer, not the fucking buffer thing, the steamer. And then at some point it'd go like, and it meant we're out of water. And it was like, oh, I get to empty the solution tank, which was filled with greasy black shit. And you pull the hatch on this catch tank, and the greasy hot mess spills into a 5-gallon bucket. And then you drag that 5-gallon bucket to the toilet in the back, and you dump it into the toilet. It gets all over the side of your leg and everything. That was the perk.
Why?
That was the break. You got to break.
Doing
You got to break, bending over and back breaking, whatever, to empty the solution tank in a toilet of a Sizzler and Arleta. That was the break. When I worked at McDonald's, throwing away the fillet of fish that had gathered in the heating tray, like I ate them out in the by the dumpster, but it's like, oh, I get to stop standing over this griddle and searing shit. I get to walk outside and go to the dumpster. When I'd work construction, it'd be like, go down to the Home Depot and pick up 3-day labor. It's like, oh, God.
Me.
This is a vacation. You have to think about your job when those types of things that sound like torture to normal people become a shining light, a beacon of hope in your job. That means you have a shit job.
No, you're right. And you just answered the mystery for me. Why would anyone in prison want to get a prison job for 13 cents a day?
Right.
And that's why.
Other than being
in a hot, steamy laundry room or whatever.
Here is I have this thing where it's like, here's how you know you're in a bad neighborhood. You know, you have the billboard that has the Mexican lawyer that says there's 19 accidente with 19 eights is the phone number, right? That's bad. We'll replace any tooth for $19.95.
Don't abandon your baby.
That's a bad neighborhood. Yeah. If you live in a
or
neighborhood,
do abandon your baby. Safe surrender.
Oh,
zone.
right.
Yeah.
By the way, this is next door to you, Gina. It was many years ago, though. It's been gentrified since. If they have the shopping cart, and the shopping cart has a piece of rigid conduit duct taped to it that's 3 inches higher than the door.
Yeah, you can't take it out.
That's a bad sign for your neighborhood. They don't have that, the Gelsons in Brentwood. They trust the bitches over there.
Okay.
You can't get it out. It was called Mainly Seconds. It was on the corner right next to your house. It was a pottery place. And if you don't believe me, it was a pick and save or something at some point. And if you don't believe me that it was a shitty neighborhood in a bad place, the guy who shot Enos Cosby, the guy who executed Enos Cosby worked there, next to where you live, Gina. That could have been you.
And
I got a lot to think about.
Go get carts.
Shit.
He worked at the Mainly Seconds.
Wow.
I have goosebumps.
Pottery place right on the corner of Magnolia there.
Fuck.
That's where
Lock
the
my
guy
doors.
who
Hold my kids tight
executed Enos
tonight.
Cosby.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what was a good perk of the job as a bagger? Was going to get more bags, because you got to go into the back, load up the thing with the bags.
Spend a few minutes in the walk-in fridge.
Yeah,
cool off.
exactly. Cool off. Our owner was such a weirdo that he demanded all the bags be facing the same direction.
I like this guy.
I know. It's so inefficient.
Did he make you count the blueberries?
It was so inefficient, but we had to take
Casino?
every 50 bags. I had to
Van
take them off,
Halen rider.
reverse
Yeah,
them,
right.
You know what I mean? You could never just slide in all the bags. God forbid they face different directions every 50 bags.
And to rock it back to Brian's point, because I hear this a lot, is well, it gives the kids something to do. Is they still, or you're eliminating job? That's the one I get. You're eliminating jobs by being a cart narc.
I think you created a job for yourself.
Well, that's one. But number two, they still have to go to the cart corral to pick up the carts. You still get that 15, 20 minutes. You're just not traipsing through the mulch and in between the spots.
Right.
Is the
If all the
guy
carts are together, your job is done.
Chris? I need to find out if the guy who executed Enos Cosby is still in the joint.
Or at the pick and save.
Yeah, which was a mainly.
At the Johns.
It was a mainly seconds. No, it wasn't where the Johns is.
So where is it?
It's on the corner.
Laurel?
No, it's the corner on the side street. I don't know, whatever. I think it's maybe your street,
Oh,
right there, man.
It used to be like a dental village, but now the dentist's office is all boarded up.
you're looking at the mini mall.
Oh, I love that he knows what I'm talking about.
I grew up in that neighborhood.
Okay.
It's right on Magnolia, and it's one side street. I guess it'd be north of Laurel Canyon. Is that north?
No,
No, it's not north.
East.
East,
Mm-hmm.
then
How many
not
local
east.
directional
Laurel's
references are in your
east and west,
syndicated
right?
morning show?
Because
East and
Magnolia's
west.
north.
One small street north of Laurel Canyon.
Okay. Well, that is next to my house, so let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, why'd you say no?
Because I thought you were talking about the dental village.
No, you were talking about the dental village. I said it wasn't
No,
the
that's
dental
what I
village.
thought
it's
you were
one
talking about.
street north
Right.
of Laurel Canyon.
First of all, I don't know why you're listening to me. I told you that.
I'm listening to you because I value your input, or
Why
at least
would
I
you
did.
do that?
At least I
told
did.
you we exit the gate that way. I don't know where directions.
I'm always interested when people just go no. And then I go, all right. I feel weird now, but
in that moment, I really feel like I know what I'm talking about. But 3 seconds later, I realize I'm a fucking idiot.
well, then go maybe.
Maybe.
It's one street north of Laurel Canyon. I believe it's north.
You're right. You're right.
And
You're
that's
right.
toward your
You're
house, right?
Yes.
And it was a little weird corner market thing there. I don't know
Yeah.
if they sell like outdoor furniture or something now or something. What's on that corner?
Sorry, one more local reference. It's not far from the Golden Chopsticks.
No, that's the other. I think you're on Laurel. That's on Laurel Canyon.
Yes.
It's one small street north of Laurel Canyon
Okay, I really.
on Magnolia.
Okay, I really thought Laurel ran north to south, but I'm.
Oh, you just said it ran east to west. Okay, then it's west.
I went
Then
to-
it's west. Sorry. All right, that's good. I was listening to you. All right.
Don't ever do that.
It's west or north. I don't know. What's the Ventura Freeway? Don't you go north on the
But
Ventura
it
Freeway?
changes from
I know.
east to south.
It's confusing. All right. Then
Now
west.
this is
We'll find
fun.
it. Is he out of prison yet?
No,
bought you some time.
He's serving life.
Oh, good.
Okay, time has passed.
But don't you get to? Yeah, it must be west then. Don't you get to in California after you do 25 years? You know, he's been in for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he shot him in like 96.
Yeah, he admitted it on his own accord and then just stopped any appeals and just says he wants to do the right thing. And
Wow.
He
He stopped
that. In 96? And did he work at mainly seconds?
And do they have the bars on the carts?
And did they have the bars on the carts? And
Where you
what the
couldn't walk
hell
it out the
is
door.
that place now?
the murder was in 97.
Oh,
Beginning of
okay.
97, yeah. So.
Yeah, tragic story. All right. Well, we got another. I think we have a vid to play.
Yeah, we got some clips here.
We got a Cart
Well, we
Narc,
played one of
clip.
the clips you sent us, but this is a video that we took off
Okay,
of the
good.
YouTube too.
Where are you at on this one?
This is actually close to those cross streets you were just. This is
my Ralph's.
Sherman Oaks Ralph's
Uh-huh.
or Sherman Oaks / Van Nuys right in that area. And this is a chick who, and you'll see it. She could have walked 10 feet behind her to the cart return, or just slide that cart right between those two spots, as Bald Bryan would want you to do.
I never said that. Don't put words in my mouth.
You know, because your kid, when the next person who pulls in that spot, their kid opens the side door into the cart. Oh, screw them.
Exactly.
So let's see what happens there.
Oh, man. That's not where the carts go.
Right in between the two cars.
This is not. This is between the
Shuts
spots
the door.
here.
See,
Supposed
this
to
is a
take the carts
worthy.
back to the.
Do you work here?
Ma'am, I'm with the Cart Narcs. What we do is we narc out people who are being big old lazy bones and not taking their carts
Are
back.
you taking video of me?
Well, yeah, that's how we can show other people. Man, you can't take.
swats at
You
you.
can't film me without my permission.
Let's not get past the point. The point is you didn't take your cart back.
The point is
you didn't.
that you're filming me without
But
my
why am I doing that?
Because I'm a documentary filmmaker, and I'll tell you right now, I don't get my
Why am I?
permission.
Why am
I
I?
don't get my permission.
That's
from
great,
you.
but why am I doing that, ma'am? Because you
You're
were.
an asshole. There's no rules.
No,
that
she's
say
filming you.
I have to put my cart there.
I know it's common decency,
She's
which you
filming
lack.
it.
You
As a-
lack common decency.
Ma'am,
What
I'm-
are you going to do with the video?
I'm going to help show.
You might notice as a documentary filmmaker, her phone immediately comes out in vertical mode.
Oh,
just like you
yeah.
see on all the big, the BBC, Richard
Well said.
Attenborough, that whole thing.
Well said.
She's driving a Prius, too,
That's
right?
shocking, right?
There's
This is a
no rules
worthy.
that say I have to put my cart there.
I know it's common decency, which you lack.
You lack common decency.
Ma'am,
What
I'm-
are you going to do with the video?
I'm going to help show people how to behave
Are you
properly.
going to put this on YouTube so you can make money?
Ma'am, I'm going to put it wherever I please. The point
Oh, I
is,
see. You're going to use my video wherever you please so you can make money?
I will admit that you acting like this and being kind of a B word is helping me out because.
I'm being a B word?
Well, your voice is raised and mine is not.
No, you're not, because you're being a pig, okay?
How is it a pig to enforce
You're-
rules and be clean?
swats at you
You're trying to steal my
again.
phone. It's attempted theft,
No, I
ma'am.
didn't try to steal your phone. I'm trying to stop you from picking a video of me.
Well, why am I doing it though, ma'am? You're not addressing the root cause of your laziness.
Now she's taking
How's
the
it
car.
going?
She put it right in between her car and
Hashtag
another
Cart Narcs.
car. Which
That's a handicap spot.
Wait, that's worse.
So she's going.
But you don't understand why they have the blue spot there. It's to help people get out of their
That's
wheelchairs and
way
stuff.
Oh, she left it in
Sam,
the handicap
you're not
lane.
learning
Going
your
back into the
lesson.
store.
She's going into the store to tell on me. She takes the cart with her, but not all the way because she's not going to be told. Leaves it in right next to the no parking sign.
She parked it right in between her car and the
one
other
next to her.
car.
I see it every day.
How does she get into her car with
That's
that
a
car?
Well, they move it up
parked
a
there?
little bit so that she can get her door just open far enough. And then slide on in.
no.
And you might also
That's bad.
notice in this video is that as she's dumping it into the handicap access area, she almost hits a blind guy. Like he's walking. And again, the dude in the white and the gray shorts, he's kind of walking through, doesn't really know where he's going. So yeah, but it's so typical. Is as you hear it there, is she wants to talk about the videoing, which apparently she's an expert lawyer because that video has been up for 2.5 years. Whatever appeal she's filed has not gone through. And I keep trying to take it back to. Let's talk about the cart. No, you're an a-hole. You're a piece of S. F you. I know what I'm doing.
Be right.
I
People
do.
pointed that out as well, Brian.
I'm always, you know what? I'm amazed of how much of what lies beneath is so close to the surface with so many people. You see it on a lot of commercial flights now. You see women like this. People, it's like, how do you get from zero to exceedingly agitated over innocuous shit? Like literally everything is a button push. It has got nothing to do with shopping carts. There's issues with stepdad or whatever it is. Like, and why are people wearing this stuff like out on their sleeve?
Ready.
You see people crying where they don't need to cry. Like all this emotion that is completely misplaced, has nothing to do with the person she met 10 seconds ago, the basket with the wheels on it that you could happily just push 40 feet that way. Like there's none of it makes sense. I remember doing a remod on a woman's house once, and at some point she started crying in front of me. She's like broke down and started crying. I don't know. I was talking about like crown molding or something. Something was going wrong. I just got done raping her, and she had this whole emotional, and she was just like crying, and I kept looking at her, going, "I don't know you. I don't even know you. Like, why are you? Why is this? I don't know you. Why are you
said
doing
that?
this? Yes, like this is. We don't know each other well enough for you to have an emotional breakdown in front of me. But it's now. I feel like. It's on. Everyone's on their last nerve, and they're all willing to go there immediately. You know what I mean? There's more and more Americans that will get out of their car, have a pushing match, have a screaming match. Look, it is your time.
Yeah.
It is your life. This is a stranger. I'm sure it reminds you of something.
No, but it's not happening right now.
But it's not happening now. Do we need to know about it?
I can quote a very wise man who says that all roads lead to narcissism. And I think that's what Cart Narcs has exposed, because you guys brought it up earlier. What percentage of people just say, you're right? And it's 25, 30%. And it's, even though I've done this hundreds of times, it impacts me to my core. I'm like, what? Yes! That's a real emotional response for me. Like, I can't believe you just admitted to it. Said what, when you're right is the line they use a lot. It's amazing. But then you get like this lady who wants to scream and cry about her documentary filmmaking abilities and then go tell the manager, as opposed to just walk the cart back.
Hit a blind guy with a cart.
And that too.
Real quick, Emmy just sent me breaking news. I know exactly where this mainly seconds was. It's now the Dollar Tree.
The Dollar Tree.
So we can put that baby to bed.
Which Max Zapata says was on the corner of Magnolia and Laurel, but it's not.
That's not where the Dollar Tree is.
That's not where the Dollar Tree is.
We got to move on.
I did the two biggest streets, but it's like, it's Bellingham.
But we've been... I'm glad you narrowed it down to Laurel and Magnolia, Chris. Our discussion was what's the side street where it's a block off. That's what we're trying to...
Sorry, I missed that part.
Trying to narrow down. Gina's right. It is your direction.
Somebody grab
right?
that.
Gina's right. Although she told me...
But I
Laurel
still think
Canyon ran the wrong direction.
I thought Laurel Canyon's north and south, Magnolia's east and west.
Let's ask Sebastian north and south.
The problem is when
God damn it.
the problem is when you get on the goddamn Ventura Freeway, which goes right over the top of Laurel, you head north.
Understood.
Which is always I've lived in the neighborhood my entire life. It's always confusing. How can this be perpendicular to a thing that's going north and south if it crosses it and you're going north when you get on? But anyway, all right. So the killer of Ennis Cosby worked at Mainly Seconds, the pottery place.
I don't like that.
That was my takeaway from that tragic chapter.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a break. Sebastian, hang out, and we'll do the news right after this.
We got some hot Cuomo news. This is not about being Italian and apologizing for hugging. This is the real story that we were waiting for. He won't be charged over his handling of COVID deaths in the nursing homes last year. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office gave his attorneys the news on Monday. His lawyer came under. He said he came under fire early in the pandemic for ordering seniors to be discharged from the hospital, returned to nursing homes, even if they didn't test negative for COVID-19. And I know it feels like, yesterday and also a million years ago, but remember, we didn't have a vaccine then. At the time, he said he was trying to alleviate stress on hospitals by moving less severe cases out. But months later, news broke that his office had underreported nursing home deaths by thousands.
It's such an interesting time that he's basically doesn't get busted on the handling of the seniors who died, but the handling of the ass cheek of the chick on the elevator. That's what brought him down.
How close did you brush her breast?
Right.
Yeah.
It was her back.
Oh, jeez.
Just the middle of her back.
Yeah, we stood behind her and dragged his finger down her spine or something.
I mean, that's creepy, but he's acting like a full-on Grim Reaper with the elderly.
Yeah, the problem with creepy is, here's the thing about other crimes. So murder is murder and arson is arson. Creepy is in the hand of the beholder.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you like that dude, then that's the furthest thing from creepy.
Right.
That's that's pretty cool.
That's a pretty good Monday.
And if you don't like him, then it's super creepy.
Yeah.
So how does the law work this one out? Now, the answer is nobody does it. But it creates a lot of weird gray area, which is if you are a cool dude and everyone likes you, then it's not creepy to most women, and then it gets super creepy. And the problem with creepy is the guys who are creepy are always the last to find out they're creepy.
They're creep blind.
They don't know it. As a matter of fact, there should be some sort of creepy index.
Okay.
And you could assign a number to every guy, and you would then know what your place was at work.
How far you could go.
Right. So we're going
with touching the shoulder.
It's the Franken Weinstein scale.
Explain.
Well, from Al Franken to Weinstein.
Franken
like
Weinstein.
Frankenstein.
I thought this was like turn of the century
Mary Shelley.
psychologist. Yeah, I didn't know if there's something existed. Yes. So meaning they're guys that are creepy. Now, It's a combination of male pattern baldness, a waistline,
Sure.
like a physicality, the car they drive, how they dress. Sometimes it's a musk, like do they wear a certain cologne or some cheap aftershave
Do they have
or
a
something
cell
like
phone
that.
clip on the outside of their belt?
That's right.
Cell phone clips, frames on
Flip-up
the glasses.
glasses, yeah.
There's women factor in. There's probably 1,800 things that
Yeah.
factor. It's not
Yeah.
just jawline. It's a whole bunch of. Mixed in with you guys you always got your radar spinning around. The guy comes in, says what he did over the weekend. It's not something you would want to do, or he saw a movie you don't like, or he likes some, like some stupid band
It's a
that
clit
you
killer.
hate. It's the clit killer. But the guy never knows it.
Right.
So that guy goes to work, and then you come in with your sundress, and he goes, someone's been working out. And he goes, ugh.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know it.
Right.
He doesn't know where he stands.
Right.
He doesn't know where he stands. And that's why I think everyone needs a number assigned to them, because you don't see it in the mirror.
Well, you know what? That's such a great point. I thought of an even better index. We have Cuomo, who were like, no thanks. But we even had Daryl Hammond in yesterday saying, when Bill Clinton steps into your space, it doesn't matter, gay, straight, man, woman, everybody wants to have sex with him.
Right.
And it's an older politician that if you just saw him walking down the street, you might give him the time of day.
All right, so Cuomo thinks he's in the Clinton hot tub.
Yes.
And so he's dragging the finger along the spine and rubbing the pat in the belly, the officer that walks by, and all that kind of stuff, thinking, well, Bill Clinton,
right?
This is business.
What's the difference?
It's a compliment,
Yeah.
right?
Well, Adam raises a great point here. There's metrics in sports. We know that Steph Curry's an MVP, and the guy playing sixth string for the Clippers isn't. But they can look at the numbers. They can look at the percentages. The creep, they don't have that number, which is what you're saying we need.
And not only that, everyone thinks they're Steph Curry from the three-point stripe, and they are not. They're shooting up a lot of air balls and getting it swatted, and no one knows. The creepy guys don't know they're creepy.
Right.
Now the cool guys know they're cool. The creepy guys don't know they're creepy.
Because if they knew they were creepy, they would stop being creepy, right?
Or they would knock it off with the weird ponytail
Right.
that's greasy
They
or
would
whatever
stop
the
doing the thing
weird
that makes them
things
creepy.
they do.
Yeah.
Long hugs.
They would
Yeah.
know. Yeah. So they need to be informed.
That's a good point.
There was Brian, you may remember this from the morning show, but I believe we talked about a service that basically said to people you got BO or you got bad breath.
There was also a rejection line. Remember the girls would give out the number that said, sorry, this lady's not interested?
Oh, right, right.
So
We
it's the
need
same.
somebody to inform creepy guys they're creepy so they know for them.
Caitlin, you're it.
They're trying to keep a job.
It's just a creep clerk, a guy who walks around in a
Right.
red blazer and, pardon me,
Right.
sir, I need to talk to you for a moment.
Yes.
Well, it has to be.
Clark.
It's going to have to be a guy. Like it's going to have to be like a cart narc, because when a girl tells a guy they're creepy, then she friend zoned him. He's an incel, an incel, and he goes and shoots up a school.
Yeah,
so
and
it's got to
this
be a
needs
guy.
done like
Gotta be a guy.
serving,
Carefully.
serving court papers.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like subtle,
Yes.
not embarrassing.
Yeah, this is
Third
not
party.
personal.
No offense, Sebastian. The jacket made it work. Maybe a bad idea.
This runs parallel to another thought I had, because I was on a flight with a woman and she was just coughing on me. Her ass was so big under the seat it was rubbing up against me, and she was using a seat cover to change the air above her because she didn't want those germs. And I was like, and I didn't want to I couldn't then go and click for the flight attendant to come because they'll know who called me out. But if there was just a roving person who, listening to music on your cell phone without earbuds, that whole thing, who would say, yeah, pardon me, I need to talk to you for a
Was
minute.
was the
Step
Clooney
aside.
movie Up in the Air?
Up in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we
Kendrick.
run it.
I like
Guy
it.
outside
Yeah.
firm comes
Yeah,
in,
that's right.
we call you in, we sit down,
Sir, you're fired.
we talk about your
Can I
creep
ask why?
factor.
Yeah. That's good.
And then you know where you stand.
Third party.
Speaking of grocery stores and potentially being creepy or weird, yesterday at Trader Joe's, I was there to get groceries. Have been since New Year's, blah, blah, blah. I'm in the frozen section looking at the frozen chicken nuggets for our 5-year-old daughter, and I put my hand in, warm air. And I'm like, that's not supposed to happen. Or maybe there's a newfangled thing where it alternates, but that seems really weird. So I went to the manager. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. Maybe it's normal. Maybe you know about it. But your frozen section's putting out warm air. She's like, oh, go check it out. Is that weird to just walk up to the manager and be
No.
like,
No.
shit's
You're a
faulty?
customer.
No, it
I
doesn't.
felt weird doing it.
Did you ask her out after?
Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe.
How low did your finger go on her back?
So he's off.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're done with him. Now, someone who is getting put away, and tell me if this name sounds familiar because she was in the zeitgeist and then she was gone. Elizabeth Holmes headed to prison. Theranos, the
Out
one
for
with
blood.
the
Yeah.
no voice. So a California jury has found the Theranos founder guilty on 4 counts of wire fraud against investors. She was acquitted on 3 other counts of wire fraud against investors and 3 counts of wire fraud against patients. She's 37. She's the one who claimed to have developed technology that would run numerous medical screenings with just a few drops of blood. And that story was documented in a great 20. You saw it, I'm sure.
I did.
The
It was
inventor. The judge has not set a sentencing date, but yeah, it was a scam. It was like a new Silicon Valley scam.
I think she's poised for a comeback.
I agree. She's got a cult of personality.
I think she's going to go in for a little while. She's going to rearrange a few things, and she's going to come out. That won't be the last we've heard of her.
No, I think you're right. But she got me thinking about, and I know Brian's a real snob. He only cares about movies. He does not care about limited series or TV, no matter how amazing it is.
Mm-hmm.
I beseech you,
That's true.
please, if you can hear my voice, watch the Dopesick series with Michael Keaton, Rosario Dawson. Holy shit. I can't believe they didn't get a cease and desist. It's about the Sackler family who created OxyContin and what it did ravaged. Specifically, they released it into farming and mining communities, specifically to get those people hooked on it. It's a 10-part limited series. We finished it last night. You'll never take a drug again. You'll never
I'm not
trust
here to
Big
talk
Pharma.
about myself, but if you guys want to know where all the answers in life lie, and maybe we've all experienced a lot of this with COVID, you have like basic logic or basic knowledge or basic whatever, you will outdo the experts, you know? So I don't know anything about infectious diseases, but when they were saying no laying down on the beach, I was like, that's retarded. I don't know anything, but I fucking lay down on the beach, sunshine, outdoors.
Offshore breeze.
Whatever. You know a lot of the stuff
Yeah.
you know. And I always used to tell Dr. Drew, who prescribed many of these things, I would tell him in the late 90s, I go, this is big business for the company. You got people that got 100 pill a day habit. You're moving units. And he would always go, no, they don't want that. They do not want that. And I would go, well, why wouldn't they? I mean, I'm not making a judgment here. You got a product, you make a product. I take 2 every 7 years, but if I took 100 a day or 40 a day or whatever it was, that'd be big marketing for them.
Pill mill.
And he was like, I absolutely do not want that. And I was like, why not? They make something. That's just
exactly what they wanted.
Replace it with hot dogs. They'd like everyone to have the hot dogs.
Samsung hates selling TVs.
Yeah.
Right. And
That's not the business they're in.
And he kept, he was a physician. I wasn't. He kept just telling me, no. Now he does now say yes, but I'm saying, you don't need to be an expert. You can just sort of do a little homespun math.
Yeah.
Like, this seems like good business for them.
And, not to go down a rabbit hole, but, we talk about junk food or whatever. The whole point is to get you addicted. The whole cigarettes, the whole point is to get you coming back for the product, no matter how fucked it makes your life.
Yeah.
So anyway, really great series, and we'll check in on Elizabeth.
It was funny you mentioned that because 10 years ago I ran into this by accident. When the census was coming around, I was living in a house and I'm on the air, so let's screw with this guy. Let's see if he'll come in and party because I had some girls living with me. It's like, hey man, there's 3 people that live in this house and we have a lot of parties here, bro. And he's like, yeah, you got any oxys? It's like, oh
wow,
Straight to it.
I was like, all right, where did that come from? And that was 11, 12 years ago now at this point. But he was like, yeah, usually I go downtown to pick them up. But if you got some out here in this neighborhood, I would love to stop by more often.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
All right. And I had this on audio tape. And we played it on the air with the regular guys at the time. I sent it to Andrew Breitbart, when he was still alive. And he was, I'm going to run with this and so on and so forth. And then he did the back math. He said, hey, wait, you work for the regular guys on the radio? Is this some bit? Are you effing with me? Are you on the phone to me? He's yelling it to me. And that's kind of the thing that sort of taught me a lesson is don't ever say I'm doing this for the radio. Because they'll say, oh, it's a bit.
You're
no matter
messing-
how real it is in real
Yeah.
life, so there.
No, that makes sense. And that's exactly what they did. They started with a 10 milligram or whatever oxy. They went up to a 160 milligram pill.
Wow.
I mean, it's really very, very enlightening. But moving on to the Golden Globes that nobody is going to.
Wait,
They have them?
Let me tell you why you're not going
are
to
the
see it.
nominees? Oh no, it's like this weekend.
Remember how we talked about it last time and they said, like, don't worry, you don't have to submit yourself to be nominated because, like, everybody's backed out on the Golden Globes and nobody wants to submit themselves. So it's still going to happen with no press, no celebrities, no red carpet, no audience. So I'm not sure who's attending. The event has already been canceled by NBC after the Hollywood Foreign Press Association was criticized for not having enough black members, having no black members. According to the press release, only select members and grantees will be allowed at the Globes, provided they have proof of vaccination, a booster, and a negative PCR test. The release didn't mention if it would be live streamed or if anyone would even know it ever happened.
The only thing interesting about the Golden Globes was the celebrities showing up and getting drunk.
Yeah, the Ricky Gervais opening.
Does everything that existed 10 minutes ago need to be done away with? Because I feel
Tuned
like
up.
that seems to be the theme,
Yeah.
which is it's not so much. Again, removing the Civil War generals is one thing, but we're on to boulders now. Like, is it just something existed and it's got to go? Because I feel like that's the general theme.
Yeah.
We've known about it's the foreign press or whatever. I don't know. Are they discriminating? Are they discriminating against black folks being nominated or showing up or winning Golden Globes?
I think it was there weren't enough members of the Hollywood Foreign
the
Press
voting.
who were black.
Right, but there's always this thing which I always push back on, which is it's the same as, we need the fire department to represent the community. Why? You think they're racist? You think they wouldn't save you? They wouldn't get your fucking cat out of a tree? Well, what is it? They wouldn't vote for a black film? Or I feel like there's many, many instances of, white people or predominantly white groups voting, LeBron James wins MVP every year. So says a bunch of old white sports reporters or whatever. Don't we just do that? The Academy Awards? Like,
Moonlight.
why
La
do
La
we
Land.
need your own voting? Isn't that sort of a weird racist thing? Like you couldn't appreciate or enjoy or respect or vote for?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's all it's fucking retarded. Anyway.
So, who wins, who knows, and who knows if they're even going to care.
Yes.
Because remember, Tom Cruise gave his Golden Globe back, and remember that whole thing. So,
And change the world.
yes, right. Yes.
I would love to take all the statues and all the horses and all the generals and all the Golden Globes and all the awards that everyone's given back and just get them together and make a Mainly Seconds type store in your neighborhood. And
It's good.
sell that. There's got to be a market for that stuff.
Hello, I live right there. I'll go.
We'll call it runners up.
That's
yeah,
good.
Yeah. Hey, guy in Dubai who used to have
Right.
the Aston Martin DB5. I got Tom Cruise's Golden Globes over here, and I'm ready to deal.
That's great. Yeah. I think it'll be a big draw in my neighborhood, too.
Does Tom Cruise give them back? Or does he just sort of get them out of
Let's
the
check it up on this.
mantelpiece? Like, who does he, how
Puts
would
it behind
one,
the door.
who would one return these things? Oh, I guess you'd bring it to a fire department.
Right.
Yeah,
You say surrender.
Right.
Well, let's
Or
go.
church.
That's right. Let's visit the other side of the spectrum. The Taliban has ordered all retail shop mannequins to be beheaded because they are sinful idols.
This can't be true.
This is 2022 now we're in. Afghan women have faced a savage crackdown on their freedom and education since the Taliban came back into power. The New York Post reports that brutal, oppressive, and sexist laws enacted by the group in the 90s are being rolled back into place. Now, the speakers of the Taliban were like, no, we're not going to do that anymore. Well, they're rolling back. Mannequin heads got to go. Women face being murdered for showing too much flesh, demanding basic human rights, and having affairs and being rape victims. The Post report goes on to say that when the Taliban stormed across Afghanistan, it was reported their militants were already kidnapping children as young as 12, and that a charity also recently issued a warning as baby girls as young as 20 days old being offered up for marriage.
Ugh.
2022.
It's an investment.
2022.
Brian, thanks.
This still goes on.
Wow.
Were you ever horny enough as a young man that the sight of a mannequin head where you're like, oh, God, you put that away. I can't see that.
Sinful she-devil.
I've got, oh, yeah.
Now, do they behead it or do they unscrew the head?
It says
I think-
to behead the mannequins.
I think beheading is just taking the head off.
Yeah.
Whatever method you choose. Is
Not
on
in a
you.
dramatic chop.
Yeah, not a chop necessarily.
But then, look, I don't want to explain how to train young Taliban fighters, but
Please don't.
If you had first off, this is Cub Taliban work. You know what I mean? This isn't for the senior ranking.
No.
This is your merit badge.
Yeah, these are your boots on the
This
ground.
guy doesn't. The guy who manages the Gelson's not out in the parking lot collecting the cards.
Right.
This is your Eagle Taliban project.
Just to bring it around. You know what I mean? These are young Cub, greenhorn Taliban guys. You dispatch these guys to remove the heads from the mannequin. And you could, do it by sword. That's a lot of chopping. I think there's probably a quick release on the back, or you unscrew it or something. Fine. So that's what they're dispatched to do. And then at some point, you abduct a nun or a female CNN reporter or something like that. And then you go, we're going to behead her. And then this guy gets up, the Cub guy gets behind her, starts like twisting and
Looking for the latch.
Move, what are you doing? I'm just doing this is what I've
been doing for the past year and a half.
This week on Least in the East.
He's like trying to unscrew it, and she's complaining. I just feel like it's a dangerous message.
Right. So because they're going to get fired from the Taliban for
Well,
gumming up the work.
It's just bad technique.
I understand.
That's all.
So we should call it something else.
Well, what I'm saying is whatever method, you have to chop the heads off the mannequins.
Oh, I see.
Because that's what we're practicing.
Right.
Exactly.
So it doesn't go the other
You
direction.
develop poor habits in practice.
Well, I'm seeing an opportunity for like a weird science Taliban edition where they start with the mannequin model through science, make it come to life so they can kind of practice all the way around.
Gina, like when you're used to driving your car
Every damn night.
and the headlights are at a certain place on the knob, and then you jump into a rental car and you want to turn the lights on, your hand goes to the same. That's what I'm talking. This is that.
Now I get it. I'm totally famished. I'm backwards. I don't know what's up, what's down.
It's muscle memory. You've trained these young Cub Taliban guys to twist the head off of a human body. That's kind of muscle memory.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All right.
Let's talk about a new way to dispose of a body. The body of Archbishop Desmond Tutu, he died the day after Christmas. He will undergo something called Aquamation, which is an increasingly popular and environmentally friendly alternative to traditional cremation methods since it uses water instead of fire. It's called alkaline hydrolysis. They call it Aquamation. So here's how it's done. The body of the deceased is immersed for 3 or 4 hours in a mixture of water and a strong alkali in a pressurized metal cylinder heated to around 300 degrees. The process liquefies everything but the bones.
That's not that
hot. It's really not. My oven goes much higher than that, which are then dried in an oven and reduced to a white dust, placed in an urn and handed to relatives. Aquamation is reported to use 5 times less energy than fire and reduces a funeral's emissions of greenhouse gas by 35%. Right now, not allowed in many countries, but
not allowed.
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know. There's lots of ways to bury and get rid of people here that aren't allowed. Like, remember we were talking about the bury-
Viking funeral?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, there's these different ways.
Tree burial.
That's what I was going to say.
Standing up one.
Yes,
right?
the tree pod. There's a way to fully dissolve the body, like down the sink. There's the new one is you can get pressurized into like a diamond and like wear it.
The tree pod.
Oh, and a firework.
This is my construction background speaking, but the grave digger, which has now been replaced by like the backhoe, takes up a lot of room. Then there's a caisson rig. That's just a drill bit.
Okay.
It's just a big ass drill bit. Okay. And they have all different widths, but a human body only need 2 foot. You just drop that caisson rig, just drill it down, big auger bit. You see them by the sides of the freeways and stuff.
High rises.
Yeah, and you drop everyone in vertically. You got a lot more bodies can be put in that Forest Lawn Cemetery if everyone goes vertical.
It'll be an actual forest lawn.
You put the tree on their head.
Yeah.
We're done.
Not a bad idea, really.
Not at all.
All right, we're not going to do better than that. Let's bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
Well, last but not least, there's LifeLock. Scareware is a scam where pop-up ads scare users into thinking their computer has a security problem, and the fix is to buy their software. Then they access it and steal your info. It's important to understand how cybercrime and identity theft are affecting our lives. Every day we put our info at risk on the internet. In an instant, cybercriminals could harm your finances and your credit. Good thing There's LifeLock. LifeLock helps detect a wide range of identity threats like your social security number for sale on the dark web. If they detect your information has potentially been compromised, they will send you an alert. It's LifeLock, right, Dawson?
No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but you can keep what's yours with LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. Join now and save up to 25% off your first year with promo code Adam. Call 1-800-LifeLock or head to lifelock.com and use promo code Adam for 25% off.
Well, you can check out Cart Narcs. You check out the YouTube and Instagram at Cart Narcs. And, of course, The Woody Show. I think it's syndicated, so just figure out where it's
Definitely
syndicated.
here in L.A. and then 20 or something other cities. And always you can check the podcast, too. Just go to thewoodyshow.com.
So, you can go to amcarolla.com for our live shows. Coming up at Brea, February 6th, Bill Shatner and Dennis Quaid. We're doing a couple shows with them, so you can check that out. Until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Sebastian Davis, Gina and Bald Bryan. Say it. Mahalo. People always kind of wanted me to have a beef, but I was always like, it's a gig that they took. Where's the beef? I don't get like when somebody... it's sort of like the office people who get pissed off at the employee who's new, who works really hard. And like, hey, you're making us look bad. Well, how about you make yourself look good, lazy douche, and do something?